What's up, homies? Chilling in the backyard. I was doing a live last night while I was sharpening a knife. I have to excuse the neighbor's dog's got a mind of his own. But I was doing a live video last night as I was stropping a knife as far as sharpening it with nothing but leather. I did receive a couple of new awesome strops with this knife sharpening kit that one of you guys got me on the Amazon wish list. So thank you so much for that. But I wanted to show you guys the proper way to actually put stropping compound, this stuff, on your strop. Now, what is the stropping compound? Think of it like it's really just like a greasy, oily substance that has a type of microns in it, meaning a type of grit. So different colors mean different kinds of grit. This is a very fine grit right here, meaning there's different kinds of minerals, sometimes aluminum in some of them, and these different minerals help sharpen our knives. But this is your classic butcher style strap. I mean barber. I always say butcher. Thinking barber in DeVille, like butcher in DeVille. But these, you just sit there and pull on it and sharpen your knife. Well, the key to being only being able to use leather to sharpen your knives, as far as I use just strops. I don't use a stone unless my blade has been compromised as far as there's a nick in the edge. But the way that you get away with only using a strop is by keeping your tools nice and sharp. If you let that sucker get really dull, you're not gonna get it sharpened with a leather strop. You're gonna end up having to take it to a stone. So I've got my awesome little Uber Levine stove that they sent me, one of my awesome bushcraft sponsors. Now the reason I have the stove going is because I don't want to just start applying this compound straight to the leather. I actually want to heat this leather up a little bit. So that's what we're going to do real quick. I'm taking the rough side. See how this side is rough and this side is very smooth? I never put stropping compound on the smooth side. That is the last side that I put on my blade, is like a different kind of honer. So I don't put any stropping compound on that. So I'm heating the rough sides of my leather here. Now, I don't want to get it too hot. I'm just warming it up. You know, I can stick my hand under here. You can also use the eye of your oven stove. Just feel it. It's not very warm yet. Starting to get there. Now that it's starting to get some heat on there, now I'm just rubbing this in like it's a crayon. And I'm gonna have to keep getting that warmer and warmer. As it warms up, it's not gonna penetrate the leather, like go through it, but it's gonna absorb better. The pores in the leather will open up more, allowing the stropping compound to get in there better. And plus, when the stropping compound itself gets warm, it easier spreads, right? You don't wanna get this warm enough to where the sucker's dripping over everything, though. Don't waste your tools, right? But I can even sit here and heat up the end of this stropping compound a little bit too. And rub it in there. See how well that rubbed in that time? When I heated this up a little bit too. I'm gonna get them nice and warm. And I recommend doing this on a flat surface when you are ready. Like, watch this. Just lay it down. And then be able to put some elbow grease into it. I'm not doing that because I'm making a video to try to show you guys, and it's a little bit easier when you see it right there. So I'm just rubbing that in real well. And if anybody's seen a well done strop board with the stropping compound, you'll know that that's not near good enough yet. So check it out. Stoke our fire a little bit here. this is something you don't want to be in a hurry. I mean, sure, I have a business meeting in an hour, but they can wait if I'm not done. I'm sure they'll understand. And if they don't, we probably wouldn't be very good business partners anyway. Getting that in there nice and good. Strop, 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 all day long. Strop, strop, strop while I sing this song. Gonna strop that compound, gonna strop it good. Gonna strop it till I end up in the hood. All right. That's looking better, isn't it? It's good to also kind of use a corner of it too. You can really get it up in there. But you see how that is starting to kind of flake? It's dry. Heat it up. Getting it in there nice and good. I don't want it to look like it's melting though. Just want it in there nice and thick. And yes, it'll turn your fingers green, but when I'm done, I even rub it in further with my fingers really well. If people don't understand that you have green thumbs, hey, who needs them? Get the edges real nice. See how well that's going on there now that's heated? A lot of people don't know to use fire or use your oven. Getting that to the edges there. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're probably not going to be using that exact part of the strop anyway. And I'm going to sit there and rub that in with my fingers. Get that nice and worked in the leather. You see the difference there? What my finger's doing? So get that nice and worked in like this. Oh yeah. And it's pretty warm on my thumb, I'm not gonna lie. If it's too warm for you to rub in with your finger, get another piece of leather. People say use a paper towel, but like that's taking stuff away, not rubbing it in. The wax isn't soaking into my skin because my skin is very waterproof. Now I'm gonna set it back over the fire. Once I get a good flame on that, as far as getting it nice and warm, you can tell that she'll be ready to rock. That spot right there is getting to be ready to rock. People will complain about these stoves. Well, you gotta have the wood so small. You see how I use these things? I make a long piece of wood and I just keep feeding them in there. I don't have to worry about it. I look down and I push it in there a little bit more. Common sense goes a long ways, folks. Starting to get pretty good there. Awesome. This is another good example of a strop. This is like a field strop. I can put this in my pack. Piece of leather, right? The best leather is the vegetable oil pressed leather. So they roll it a lot, you know, and you see that kind of shiny side. Now that will be the side that I finish stropping my knife on. Leave a comment below if you guys want me to teach you how to actually use the strop as well. Maybe I'm just assuming you know how to do that part. But I'm gonna put stropping compound on that rough side right there. So we'll warm this up the same. Just rubbing that in there. You see how it's not getting in every groove? Like, that's why I'm heating it up, so it can. Sometimes, see, I've got this a little bit warmer now. That way I can get more product in there. The reason I don't sit there and do that every time is because I don't want to waste product. You only need so much. But with this one, it's nice and rough. I'm going to like this strop a lot. I want you guys to notice another thing about this. This strop doesn't have as much room to hold. So I'm also getting that warmer than the last one because it's way easier for me to not burn my fingers by putting so much heat on the actual leather. I want to put enough of it on that it's getting worked in. See, notice the difference on that. That's a good strop right there. Like I got that fire about perfect. It'll be running out by the time I get finished. Like I said, this one I'm getting the actual stropping compound stick a little bit more melted than the last one because it's a lot rougher leather on the inside. Which isn't a bad thing at all. It's not a bad thing at all. Meaning, if my knife is a little bit more dull, I'm gonna use this one versus that other one. That one's more for like my razors, you know what I mean? Like my bushcraft knives. This one's more for like my everyday use field knives. You know, and you're spending a couple dollars on a piece of leather, you know, and then spending couple more dollars on some stropping compound versus spending a couple $100 on a good whetstone that's eventually going to fail, you know, as far as you'll grade it away if you use it a lot. Or that's enough to last me a lifetime. All for like a total of $10. Now I'll finish this off video because I just seen it's almost 15 minutes now. But you guys are obviously starting to get the point of what's going on here. This one, now that it's set a little bit, I'm gonna get this a little bit hotter, do a little bit more work on it. You don't have to go this hard when you're reapplying the stropping compound, which is not very often at all, believe it or not. but a fine piece like this, want to get it done right the first time. So again, I'm working my fingers in on this, rubbing that compound in. Glad I was doing this in the morning, because man, I can feel that sun coming out, even though I'm still in the shade. And bada boom, bada bing. Looking pretty good, plus you get green thumbs out of the deal. You guys have any questions, just let me know in the comments, all right? Cool. Peace, homies.